now tuned in to the Cold Hard Truth, Cayman's #1 hard-hitting live podcast show, where we feature some straightforward conversations on political, social, and celebrity news and all things happening in the Cayman Islands and around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice and a means of being involved and informed without any filters. Sometimes it gets crazy, but we always keep it real. We bring you the tea, piping hot, so grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation via WhatsApp at 324-1612. Email tips at CaymanMorrowRoad.com. Now, here's your host, Sandy Hill, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands.
Bit of other things that are out there. Again, I still can't believe like Donda. I'm not going to believe it until it comes out on the 20th, but there you go.
All right.
Big news. I have some important news for you. Interesting news.
It's Blake and Darren spilling the tea with Sandy.
Cayman top news headlines of the day from CMR. Morning, Sandy.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are ya?
I'm shaking. How are you guys doing?
We're
shaking and
moving and
baking.
shaking. Yeah.
Shaking and bacon.
Shake and bake.
Watching the storms.
Wait, is today your birthday or is it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow's your birthday. All right, we're gonna leave the
happy birthday sign up.
Birthday sign up. Yes.
Why not?
There. There we go. That.
Yeah, leave it up for the whole month because I feel like there are so many people that have a birthday this month.
There you go. I'll just leave it up all year long and then we never have to decorate or do anything again.
And how old are you tomorrow?
16. You
Well,
know, I'm one of those people who never actually remember my age, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I always have to think about it.
Well,
Yeah.
I think about my age all the time. So I'm like, oh, I got a little pain there. Is that just being 51?
Yeah.
You know?
My husband thought he was 39 last year. He's like,
Yeah.
well, next year like talking about not
The
this
big
year,
40.
last year. He thought he was turning 40 last year. I'm like, you were born in 81. You're turning 40 next year. So
Okay.
Oh
his
yeah,
40th is
I'm
coming
one of
up.
those people too. Like I always forget. I have to think about it.
Yeah.
I have to do the math. But I'm getting
So
closer to the late 50s for sure. Or late 40s, sorry.
Ah, ooh,
I'm not
close.
dating
I
myself.
was gonna say you look really good if you're getting.
Yeah.
so what's happening? What news you got for us?
Oh my gosh, today is one of those days where we just have so much news that I don't even know where to begin.
Mhm.
Well,
Kind
let's
of
start
crazy.
somewhere.
Of course, Storm Grace.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about her and all the things that are going to happen. Tropical storm conditions expected in the next 36 hours. We're going to go through all the details.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're projecting now 60 to 70 mile an hour winds.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
That's going to be a
Never know. So right now, I think we're looking at maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour, but she's still not here. So,
yeah, but if you look at the projected wind speeds for when it arrives over Grand Cayman tonight about 2 a.m., they're between 60 and 70 miles an hour. So
yep.
Yeah, and then they've got a hurricane warning in effect for the Yucatan Peninsula, so that you can see.
So she kind of shifted more south. Like it's crazy.
And Grace is going to continue increasing in strength. So
Yeah.
it'll be a proper storm tonight. You should be ready, prepared.
Yeah, you never know. Obviously, everybody was having a run on the grocery stores yesterday. And I thought, do people not heed any warnings? Like, always have your hurricane kit ready, be prepared. People just love to wait to the last minute to go get some water. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
What
you got? What else you got?
So we're going to be talking about the DMS vaccine drive. Yeah, we had a wonderful interview with Adrian yesterday. So in case anybody missed that, they can check out our YouTube channel or on Facebook. So Adrian gave us all the details. So we're going to just review it, make sure that everybody's clear. Because I know some people might like watch the show, but then maybe they miss Adrian's interview. So we like to kind of make sure it sits in well. And we are going to talk about an alleged abduction. That's kind of like weird and must be weird.
Yeah. They like tried to force a woman into a car or something.
What?
Yeah. But and luckily someone was driving by and they were able to like stop it from happening. Yeah.
Oh, that's strange.
Yeah. It is strange. And what's even stranger, CMRs tends to, we get a lot of background information, and then sometimes people involved call us. And that's what happened yesterday. We got a phone call and I was like, huh? So it was kind of weird. I'm so confused.
Like, do they know? Do you think that the person in the car knew this person on the side of the street?
Well,
or it was
the
arranged?
alleged victim actually called us.
Okay.
And I was just like,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was weird what she wanted us to do. So I'm not quite sure how to wrap my mind around what's potentially going on here, but I feel like it's definitely more than meets the eye, I suppose, at the end of the day.
I'm sure you will get to the bottom of it.
Yes, we're going to try. We're going to put on our detective hats. Shark killings. Oh my gosh. Horrible. Absolutely horrible and disgusting. The Department of Environment is warning people not to kill sharks, please.
What was the purpose of that?
Well,
I know why they do it in other countries for the shark.
Well, some people here are suspecting that it has to be other people from other countries that are doing it. Obviously, we don't know with any degree of certainty, but that's not traditionally something that Caymanians would do. So it is a little bit bizarre, and the way in which they were damaged is also bizarre, indicative of someone who was like trying to do something. I guess they're not really eating them. So is it like a medicinal thing? Like, I don't know. It's just weird.
Like fishermen that go out there and they see the shark going around and they're trying to catch the fish. They don't want the shark to get it. And so I think it's education. I think it comes down to people need to be educated that the sharks are there. They
play an important role in the ecosystem.
But no sharks, no fish. And our ocean systems.
Wouldn't that attract more sharks?
What?
If you're chumming the water?
The whole thing is it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's very irresponsible.
Yeah.
And I think Aaron is right. It probably does come down to trying to educate people as to why you protect even the predators in the ocean. You protect them because they play an extremely important role. And let's be honest, the ocean isn't our domain, like as much as we want to think it is. We're visitors, and we're visitors on this earth too. And we just treat it like it's trash sometimes. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then there is a toddler. This story is kind of breaking. Well, it happened last week, but we're kind of waiting to see if anything further would develop. But a toddler had a broken arm in 2 places after going to daycare. Now, both of you are parents, so you can imagine picking up your kid from daycare and nobody says anything to you except, oh, maybe she had some bad yogurt today. And you're like, okay, she's not feeling well. To then realize a child's arm is swollen and you've got a broken wrist and a broken elbow or something. It's just crazy.
Is this on this island?
Yep.
Was the child crying?
The child was in visible pain that obviously the administrators of that school.
It's kind of weird. I mean, I can see like kids playing and something happening, and maybe.
Yeah, but if you break an arm, you're good.
And I'm saying like maybe the teacher didn't see it happen. But you would think that the child would complain, or you know what I mean,
Right.
or be crying, and you'd have to investigate why.
Wow.
Yeah, especially when it's like in 2 places. It's not even one.
Yeah,
that sounds extremely painful.
Yeah.
So they missed it completely. So I'm just baffled as a parent. I'm like appalled as well that it wasn't caught. But yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that also. So yeah, it's kind of a busy morning full of topics today.
Busy morning. And we will, be safe tonight.
Yes.
With the storm, and we'll chat with you in the morning as long as everything's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All
right, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
All right, have a great show.
All right. Be safe, everybody. All right, folks. So we're going to go through all of the latest updates in relation to the storm, which obviously has improved significantly. And, yeah. Yes. So it's crazy. So how are you guys this morning? So yeah, we've got we've got a chock full of things to talk about this morning, so we're going to get on it. So give me 1 second here, folks. Yes. Let me just see. Yeah, so we got lots and lots to talk about. So good morning, everyone. We've got Miss Morna here. Marshall, thank you so much. Top of the morning to you, Louis. Buenos dias to Miss Elizabeth. Carson, so good to see you. Good morning, Jaron. Dorothy is here. Gina. Good morning to Larry, joining us from New York. Evelyn, of course, is here. Leslie, good morning, everybody, joining us from Florida. So this storm has taken quite a divergent path, I must say, compared to where it was headed before. Good morning, Miss Emma. Elizabeth, Carmelie is here. Tommy from the Bahamas. Wee Wee. James watching us from Canada. Miss Maureen. Richard, thank you so much. Richard, how are you doing? I've not seen you in a minute. John, Leslie says baby bones are usually very soft. It takes a lot to break them. Hopefully the baby doesn't have any underlying problems with their bones. It's just sad, but we're going to talk about all that. Miss Emma says, Jesus, take the wheel. I got to tell you, he would have to. Erica, buenos dias. Blair, good morning. Hero Blair. Catherine is here from Toronto. So nice of you to join us, the beautiful Catherine. And Linda, how are you? So listen, let's start off with Grace. Woo-wee, 28 minutes ago, we got an update on Grace. And as is customary this time of year, these storms can develop very, very quickly. The path can change. And in fact, that's exactly what has happened with Grace. So as of it would be 8 o'clock their time, which is 7 o'clock for us, I believe. Grace's path has shifted south, and she has Grand Cayman right in her line of view. So let's have a look at what is going on with what is now. She's gone up a little bit in terms of speed and intensity, not speed. So now we have hurricane watches out. We've got tropical storm watches out. And of course, you know, 'tis the season for this. Hello, Grace. Good morning. What? Really? Child, when I went to bed last night, I was like, Grace is going to be gracing us, all right. So the sister islands, initially yesterday, we were thinking was more in her path, but now it appears as though she's headed more south for Grand Cayman, which means that's us. Me and you, most of us, some of you watching from overseas. So here's the path. We're going to talk about all of the projected updates. And let me just tell you what's going on. Oy, oy, oy. Wow. So, Grace. Heavy rains causing flooding across portions of Hispaniola. The good news is for Haiti, I think this is less. Is it less of an issue for them, really? Hold on. Let me see. Not really. I was going to say, are they getting spared a little bit more? Probably not. So we've got hurricane watches already out for the Yucatan, because you see that's kind of where she's headed, in that direction towards the Yucatan and Mexico. So this is the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico and Cabo Catoche to Punta Allen. Storm warning, tropical storm warning in effect for Jamaica. Southern coast of the Cuban provinces of Santiago de Cuba, Granma Las Tunas, and Camagüey. Is that how you say that? And of course, the Cayman Islands. Whoa. So we are now under a tropical storm warning. And yeah, we're going to be watching the storm very, very closely. So tropical storm watch, Haiti, entire coast of Haiti being spared a little bit now. Southern coast of Cuba, including Pinar del Rio. Oh, I've been to Pinar del Rio before. Nice place. The island, Isle of Youth, Isla de la Juventud. Is it Juventud? Child, my Spanish needs a little bit of help. Cienfuegos, Matanzas, Sancti Spiritus. So Jamaica will start to feel some tropical storm conditions as of today. And Haiti might also feel some tropical storm conditions. Tropical storm conditions are expected along the southern coast of Cuba within the warning zone. And of course, like I said, by this evening, it looks like this thing is coming for Grand Cayman. So 8 a.m., just about 40 minutes ago now, the center of the tropical storm Grace was located at 120 miles, which is 195 kilometers east of Montego Bay, Jamaica, and about 340 miles, which is 550 kilometers east-southeast of Grand Cayman. So that's us. Grace is moving towards the west near 16 miles per hour. So that's pretty good speed, actually. Thank you, Jesus. We appreciate that little blessing. Keep it going. Keep it moving. General westward to northwestward motion is expected during the next several days. So on the forecast, the center of grace will move near or over Jamaica today. Hello, Grace. What a hot mess. What's going on here? So, we've got lots of interest in Jamaica. So we're going to be making sure that they're on alert. And then after that, Grace is forecasted to move near the Cayman Islands tonight and then approach the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico late Wednesday or early Thursday. So I don't know. How do you guys feel about nighttime storms? Dorothy's joining us from Florida. Good morning, Andy. Alba, buenos dias. Catherine, good morning. Angela's here. Do you prefer when a storm comes at night? I kind of feel like, in a way, that's probably a good thing because people are in. You're not inclined to go out and about. You're more likely to just stay put, sleep it out. That's not how I feel. Miss Marjorie, good morning. Yes, everybody's got to stay safe. So we're going to be talking about here in a second all of the things that if you haven't done already, you need to get done today. Okay. So lots of closures of businesses. Obviously, tonight, not much would be open anyway, but we're going to go through your list of things you should probably get done. So reports from Air Force One Hurricane Hunter aircraft indicate that the maximum sustained winds are near 45 miles per hour with higher gusts. Tropical storm force winds are extending out up to 45 miles from the center. Estimated minimum central pressure. Does anybody even know what any of that means? Normally, we just know that, listen, if it's dropping in central pressure, I think that's probably not a good thing. But anyway, gradual strengthening is forecasted during the next couple of days, and Grace should be near hurricane strength when it approaches the Yucatan coast of Mexico late Wednesday and early Thursday. So what are we expecting from this? Haiti is going to have between 5 to 10 inches of rain with isolated maximum totals of 15 inches. Please pray for Haiti. Across the southern terrain, heavy rainfall, of course, could lead to flash and urban flooding and possible mudslides for them. Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, 3 to 6 inches of rain, including the portions of the Yucatan. Isolated maximum totals of 9 inches. So y'all knew. That ain't good. Expected through Thursday, and heavy rainfall may lead to flash and urban flooding. The next advisory is going to be 11 o'clock their time, which is 10 o'clock, I think, for us. Yes? So we're going to be keeping, thank you, Daisy. Daisy said, yes, Chica, you got it right. I love youth. So yes, Beatrice, good morning. John says we should speak about people buying like crazy. They should buy only important stuff. Child, I don't know what's up with people. Human beings, we're just kind of weird. I'm going to tell y'all straight up right now. Like sometimes I look at us and I think we're not the most logical people in the world. We're not the most logical creatures in the world. So yes, people, John is absolutely right. People are out there binging, or what's the word? What's the proper word I'm looking for? Binge shopping. That's not really the word, but you know what I mean? They're out there going crazy, buying all this stuff. And it's like, do you need it? First of all, you should keep a hurricane stash at all times. Seems like common sense. We say it all the time. Hurricane season is here. Be prepared. Most of your supplies for hurricane season, honestly, should be fairly, non-perishable items. So I don't know why every single time there's a storm coming, y'all need to go out and jump on purchasing everything in the store anyway. Because the theory is you should have most of those things readily available. You just keep in your stock. Now, are you guys dipping into your stock? Is that what's happening here? I don't know, but I heard that there were tons of people out at like Price Right yesterday, cost you less, buying at water by the case. And I also think, although you want to have sufficient water, you don't need 5 cases of water. Now, of course, I think that most of the supply stores still have restrictions in place because of COVID, where you can only, and supplies are still very hard to come by. And this is why I would think this year, more than any other year, that you stock up early, like you shop incrementally, and you just make sure that you have your supply of goods, because you just do not know when when you're going to be needing them at the store and not be able to get them at the store. So you should buy a case like 6 months ago and buy another case maybe 3 months ago, and a month ago you buy your final case of water and just have a couple cases on standby. Having a run on the stores is stressful, I think, for everyone, even the cashiers. Like I find it interesting sometimes. I was speaking to one yesterday and she was like, oh, it's been crazy today and people are coming in here. And, they also have to like mentally try to prepare and get ready, as do all, persons in this community. But when you work in emergency services, it's difficult for those people to get out there and get prepared. So please keep them in mind, that they have to continue working right through this situation. So whether it's fire service, all the emergency services, prison even, they have to continue working as well. So it's quite a situation. Let's talk about what the government is saying. And yesterday they were meeting ahead of the storm and certainly making necessary preparations. So Cayman Airways has announced that they were going to be making some scheduled changes for existing flights. So you've got to make sure that you pay attention. If you have a flight booked with Cayman Airways between today, basically, and Thursday, just double check with them to see that things are still on. And we have the update, which now is a tropical storm warning in effect for the Cayman Islands, with tropical storm conditions expected within the next 36 hours. So remember, there's a watch and then there's a warning. I always wondered what the difference was. And do you guys remember that last time we had a storm feels like a few months ago now, it probably was. We did speak with one of the experts from the Weather Service, and he was most useful in explaining the difference, because I always was kind of curious, well, what's a watch versus a warning? Like I always felt like, but it's really just a matter of how close the conditions are. So let me see if I can actually find our low weather interview, and we'll play that, because I think that's useful information to kind of remember what he said. And Mr. What was his name again? I'll soon remember. But yes, I think it's super important that where's our weatherman? I just saw this interview yesterday, and now that I'm needing it. When was the last storm? Was it last month? Time flies so fast as well. Sometimes it's legit difficult to keep up. Remember, when did that actually take place? Or was that June? Okay, I'll find it here in a second. I think it's useful as just a key reminder on the things that obviously we want to be remembering. Yes? I will find him one way or the other. So crazy when you're not looking for something, how it just pops up. And then when you are looking for something, it's like, where are you? Mm-hmm. Okay. Gonna have a look, and I try to organize my, organizing your documents and stuff can be a challenge, but I try to. Oh, here he is. This was Hurricane Elsa that we were keeping an eye on. I think she went up to hurricane status, right? So I try to organize everything by date because I find that it's easier if I can pinpoint in my brain. When was that again? Miss Dorothy says inch and pinch. Is that what we call it? I mean, they just like running to the store like it's a national emergency. Terse, good morning. Jackie, thank you so much. Leslie says, I rotate my hurricane dry goods every 2 years. Most of these things aren't my normal staples, so I drop them off to a shelter. Yes, and I must admit that canned goods, I mean, I guess some people eat some canned goods, but to be honest, I hardly eat anything out of a can, which maybe that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. But I'm trying to think, what do I eat out of a can? Milk. Like I use canned milk for like cooking purposes. I don't really drink coffee or anything, but I think, my husband probably uses condensed milk or something if he has his occasional coffee. But Cece says Cayman will never learn. We will learn. It's a slow process. But let's have a look at what the Weather Service said with Hurricane Elsa, because I dare say it applies even now with this storm. So be prepared. That's the key, folks. Here we go. So good afternoon, folks. We are here with Mr. Avalon Porter from the Cayman Islands Weather Service. And he is a weather forecaster. And he's going to tell us a little bit about, obviously, Hurricane Elsa and just some general guidance on what we can expect for the upcoming hurricane season. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Welcome to CMR. Can you tell us a little bit about what has happened with what is now Hurricane Elsa over the last couple days and more notably over the last couple hours?
Oh, well, Hurricane Elsa basically was upgraded this morning to a hurricane. The forecast track haven't changed much from what the National Hurricane Center was predicting. It still has it moving west-northwest at 29 miles per hour. That track is going to take it over eastern Cuba on Sunday, and Sunday night it should be passing about 100. They're predicting to pass 109 miles to the northeast of Cayman, and then move across Cuba and up into Florida.
Right. Now there were some weather alerts in place for the sister islands.
Yes.
I saw the report this morning that they have been lifted.
No.
Right. Okay.
The first one was a tropical storm alert because we expect the storm to affect us within 72 hours. Even though the track has it well to the north of the Cayman, we're still within the cone of error, so the storm can basically take in the track within there. So come, I think now we now have upgraded it to a tropical storm watch because we expect tropical storm conditions within the next 48 hours.
Okay, can you just, for the benefit of our listeners who may not know the difference between a tropical storm watch, a tropical storm warning. Obviously, I think we know probably what a hurricane warning is, but what's the difference between at the tropical storm level? What's the difference between those two?
Just the weather conditions. A watch or a warning means you expect hurricane conditions. Tropical storm watch means you expect tropical storm weather conditions, which will be wind speeds from, I think it's 35 miles, 34 miles an hour up to about 74 miles an hour.
Okay, so the warning, which one is the lesser of the two? The warning?
No, the warning is you expect those conditions within 36 hours. A watch means you expect them within 48 hours.
Oh, so it's the time frame that really is the
Yes.
difference. Okay, right, got it. Learn something new every day. Wonderful. So, so we still have to keep an eye then on the sister islands and what could be heavy rainfall. What exactly are we expecting?
Yeah, they're kind of like, if the storm continues present track, they should be outside of tropical storm force winds. But we still expect a lot of rainfall from Saturday morning, Sunday morning. We're expecting regions of 3 to 6 inches of rainfall. We expect some over Grand Cayman, maybe 3 inches or so, but the majority of the stuff will be over sister islands.
Right. What sort of wind conditions are we potentially looking at?
Well, that varies. I think we're looking more like maybe 20 to 30 miles an hour over the sister islands. Grand Cayman may be less, maybe 15 to 20. But that all depends on what the storm does. So right now, based on the present track, that's the conditions we're expecting.
Okay. And what sort of precautions should people take now if it continues on its present course? What are some of the precautions that people should take in terms of securing maybe boats, marine conditions, and so on?
Well, if you're in the Brock and you have a boat, I would suggest you secure it, take it out of the water if you can. Over Grand Cayman, I would say put stuff in place just in case the track may change. But you know, as we all tell you about it from the beginning, from the 1st of June, you know, make your necessary preparations for the hurricane season. So you might have for Grand Cayman, a kind of rehearsal. You know, go through what you have, make sure everything's in place. For the Brock, well,
This is a little mini run.
a little mini run for them.
Right. Now, this is the. So, folks, if you were not paying attention to that mini run, we've got another run now that we need to really be heeding. So the forecasted path is having this storm pretty much passing, relatively near over us at around 3 a.m. Wednesday morning, which is tonight, overnight. And then it's going to approach Yucatan after that. So flood and marine warnings are in effect, and residents are urged to continue to watch the development of Tropical Depression Grace. Again, now we're looking at maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour. So it's located at, as of this morning, 340 miles. Why didn't they put the actual? Anyway, 341 miles. I got to look at my other sources over here. Southeast of Grand Cayman. So we have just messaged Mr. John Tibbetts, who's the weather general, to see if he's able to spare us any time this morning. Of course, I know that they're all super busy in preparation mode. And folks, you've got the benefit. I saw your comment, Rosemary. Rosemary said she would prefer to have a storm come during the day, and I can certainly understand that. But I think the important thing here is to really try to ensure that we are being as diligent as we can with the daylight hours that we do have. So what are some of the things, folks, that you would want to do at this particular time? Obviously, if you don't have your perishable goods as yet, you will want to ensure that you have made a last-ditch effort to get those in place. Government will be doing a few things. So they did send us a long list. So let's just have a look at their preparation. So the government of the Cayman Islands is in preparation mode, making sure that they're trying to keep the people of this country as safe as possible. By the way, Works has obviously canceled their job registration drive that was supposed to take place on Wednesday at the hotel salon room. Which hotel is this? Weston salon room from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. That was supposed to take place tomorrow. That's been canceled as government agencies now prepare. So National Hazard Management Council has met and they have gone over a few things that they wish to remind you about. So the National Weather Service is issuing full bulletins and updates at regular intervals throughout the passage of the storm, including details of the wind, wave, and rain impact, and details are available obviously from weather.gov.ky and the National Weather Service Facebook page. So hopefully they're keeping that up to date. Shelters are being readied as a precaution, including the Red Cross headquarters on Holda Avenue, which is in Georgetown, right across from the Farmers Market, in case you don't know where that's located. Sir John A. Cumber Primary School in West Bay, Clifton Hunter High School in Northside, and the East End Civic Center, as well as the Theolin McCoy Primary School, that's formerly the Boddentown Primary School. We've got the John Gray High School Gymnasium in Georgetown, and both the John Gray and Clifton Hunter schools are pet friendly. So if you have cats or dogs, you can certainly take those to those particular facilities. So, lots of warnings coming out. We've just received one again from HMCI, which is National Hazard Management Department here. So yeah, we gotta keep an eye on the storm. So tropical storm warnings. In other words, it is headed our way. We're looking at Wednesday, 3 a.m. Cayman, Bracken, Little Cayman will get some outer bands. They've just sent us a nice little diagram here. And Grand Cayman is looking at, it says, I'm just remembering that tomorrow is my birthday. Thank you, Grace, for coming on my birthday. 9 a.m., I think we're expecting, why does this say end of tropical force winds? That slide is a little bit confusing. All right, let's see what's going on here. We're going to have a look at all the slides that they've sent us. Yes, we're replacing. So they've sent us a bunch of slides here. Most of these slides, people look at them and they're like, listen, I don't know what you're talking about. Just tell me what I need to do. Okay, so are you guys ready? That's my only question. John says flood areas. Are they doing something about this? We can speak about this also. Well, John, 2 questions is what can be done, to be quite frank. Cayman, for the most part, is a lot of swampland that has been filled in. So I don't know what more can be done. We have to remember that it's marshy terrain. And so I think there are limitations on what can be done. And I think that unfortunately, the more you try to mess with Mother Nature in terms of changing the topography of what was there, just because we want it to be a certain way, it probably only makes it worse. The things that we could do is stop moving the natural fauna, especially what's it called, the protective mangroves. Stop moving those, for big development. Plant more. I don't know can we plant more mangroves? Is that a thing that we could potentially do? So on Cayman Brac, the Ashton Ruddy Center will open. This was according to the release late yesterday. Now this might have changed since it's moving away a little bit from the sister islands, but I'm sure that they're readying those properties. Public Works Department building, which is the only shelter for Little Cayman. Work is ongoing, it says, by the NRA to maintain drains as a matter of managing the flooding. NRA, please go to the public library in Georgetown. I mean, they kind of have an idea, John, what areas are, prone to flooding. So in terms of mitigation, what they can do is try to just make sure that things like the drains are cleared out. To me, that's a fairly easy one. And in fact, it should be something that they're doing all the time. Now, this email that we've just received, I'm a little bit confused by this because this came from hazard management. And it's saying that the storm, in the summary, it's saying that the storm has maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour, but in fact, it's actually 45. So I think they need to change, they need to double check those facts. They seem to have dated information is why, because they're talking about 4 a.m. We already received an 8 a.m. Forecast track. Come on, hazard management. Don't be sending me old information to rely upon. Because if I repeat that in my show, people are going to be like, what's Sandy talking about? Lord have mercy. Y'all don't know the struggles, you know. Y'all don't know the struggles. I ain't gonna say nothing else. Not another word. Anywho, we piece it together. One thing we have learned on CMR is check multiple sources if you can. So, Anyway, so all of the government agencies are out and about. They are definitely on alert. We have Travel Cayman is going to be in contact with persons who are in isolation facilities. This is important because we don't want them going out trying to get groceries and such to spread COVID. So it says here that they're going to be in contact with people in isolation facilities and those quarantining at home on Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac to ensure that all of their needs are being met. This is the thing about quarantine, right? During a situation like a potential storm. What do they do? This is just me thinking off the top of my head. What do they do if there's like an earthquake in the middle of quarantining? Because you know those people are not going to be like, oh, we're going to just wait inside until they decide to come for us. Child, they're going to be running outside in the streets. Well, I don't know. Has anybody thought about this? Have you guys talked about what that means for those in quarantine? Quarantine folks, start thinking about it. What do you do if certain natural things happen? You know, listen, Haiti just had a major earthquake on Saturday. And since then, there have been aftershocks. There was one, I think, the following day of like a 5.1 or something. Jamaica had one, I think it was yesterday, actually, like 3 point something on the Richter scale. So the region is doing a little bit of shaking and baking at the moment. So it wouldn't be unheard of if Cayman had one. Now, I'm not trying to put my mouth on my goat mouth on Cayman, but I'm just saying that probably would be predictable. So the question then becomes, how prepared are we if something like that happens? What instructions do people have who are actually in quarantine? What do y'all do? Think about it. All I'm telling you is to have a plan and to think about it, because a lot of times, you know, when there is no plan, that's when you kind of mess up and you do things that you shouldn't really do. Yeah. So be ultra cautious of, you know, what you're going to do, really. So let me just see here, folks. So, we're going to keep an eye on this storm. If we can get Mr. The Weather General on, we will certainly invite him onto the program, and I will let you know if that happens, basically. All right, double check the number you sent me. Okay. So flood and marine warning is in effect at this particular time for local residents. You all know what that means. If you have boats, if you are a boat owner, please get out there and secure your vessel. Do not wait until the vessel floats away before y'all start calling somebody and trying to do something, because by then it's a little bit late. Yes. So, you know, get to your vessels. I would say use that time today. All right. Yes, please utilize that time today to make your necessary preparations and secure your boats, because I think that that's just extremely critical. So lots of activity will be happening. Don't forget to fill up your gas. Big shout out to Home Gas, by the way. They were out and about yesterday, and I'm sure you'll see them on the street today. Please give them the necessary courtesy as they move about. They are going to be, providing a much needed service to a lot of the members of the community and topping up their gas. So it's interesting how people think about cooking at a time like this. But yes, honey child, if anything goes down, we want to be ready with some good food. And, your gas stoves are helpful. Although I find most gas stoves now, you actually need you still need electricity to kind of get the flicker part going. So make sure you have a plan of action in terms of that. All right, let me see here. Yes. What else has government said that they're going to be doing today? I'm just having a quick look. Port Authority has instructed vessels and small craft to seek safe harbor. That's what we were just saying. In the North Sound, the National Weather Service has also stated that all boats should be in safe harbor no later than Tuesday afternoon. So that's your deadline, folks. Get on it. We also have Cayman Airways channels for cutoff times to and from travel, especially inter-island travel, so to Cayman Bracken, Little Cayman. So if you had any of those trips planned, please keep an ear out on what is happening with Cayman Airways. Miss Olivia will certainly let us know and we'll post it up. So hazard management is an ongoing contact with Regional Disaster Management Organization, CDEMA, as well as other British Overseas Territories should support be needed. It's so funny that yesterday we were talking about the necessity to support each other. That and now it's our turn. We may need, hopefully not anything drastic, but we may very well need some support, which is that's just how the world works, folks. We don't live on an island by ourselves, quite literally. So damage assessment teams are standing by to roll out across the island because, once the all clear is finally given, a lot of those shelters are public schools and so on. And so they have to be cleared. I mean, school is starting, official start date was just released yesterday. That information came out that it's August the 30th. So there is a damage assessment team. I think they're a division of public works that has to go around to the different government facilities to ensure that they are okay and they've not sustained any damage that needs to quickly be repaired. So the impact on government business operations is being assessed. It says remote work arrangements and or office closures may be possible for civil servants. And, we'll find out more about that probably going into tomorrow. The government hasn't yet made a decision, but they're expected to do something a bit later on today in relation to that. Now, someone was asking me if civil servants are going to get paid early. And I thought, why would you need it? I mean, it's not a massive hurricane. It's not like we got a Cat 5 coming at us here, folks. So, you would have budgeted. It's almost payday in a couple weeks, right, for civil servants. So hopefully you would have budgeted like normal. Again, this is necessity to go out there and plan accordingly. Like, you shouldn't be in dire straits right now where you have no money. Because if you have no money, you wouldn't have had money. You wouldn't have had money even if the storm isn't coming. So that's just bad budgeting on your part, right? So I don't know why government would impede their financial position and go and rush and pay everybody early just because you need to go buy 5 cases of water. We will share with each other, okay? If you need water, I don't have cases of water, but I got a water cooler. So hit me up if you're in my neighborhood. Rosemary, thank you so much. She says, really appreciate CMR. Sandy, you're so informative. I like the fact that you simply tell things so we can understand. Good point. Re-quarantine. Yes. Johan Maxim, aka El Fuego, says, serious question. Has Public Works and NRA and other related agencies blown out or cleared storm drains and known flood areas? Well, we were just talking about that, Johan. So you must have missed that by just a couple minutes. They have indicated that they're going out and about doing it. Now, again, I'm telling you all to be prepared and do what you got to do. I'm also sending a message to the NRA and others that you also should be doing this sort of thing on a regular basis. Now, y'all saw that video that I posted last week of, I think it was last week, of the situation at the public library. That's been like that for a couple of weeks. We've gotten a little bit of rain and the whole public library is flooded out because it looks like it's just, the drain is probably clogged up. And in my mind, that shouldn't be the case anytime, but particularly during hurricane season, they need to have a regular schedule that they're rotating, that they're making sure. And again, we know the low-lying areas, which is pretty much all of Cayman, but, clearing out these drains, put it on a schedule. I'm sure they have a team, do they not, of people who that's their responsibility, or it should be during hurricane season. So Mr. Franz Manderson is actually on leave at the moment. So the acting deputy governor is Miss Gloria Macfield. So she's noted that the National Emergency Operations Center and mental health hotlines will be activated tomorrow, which is today, for any persons in need of assistance. So this is important because everybody deals with stress differently. Let me be very clear. If you're feeling stressful, from 3 p.m. today, the NEOC, which is the National Emergency Operations Center, will be open. Their number is 949-6555. Mental health, they have an 800 number. Oh, is this a toll-free number from the Cayman Islands? Please tell me that it is, Lord Jesus. Because this would be good. Do we finally have a toll-free number for mental health? I'm going to call it. Y'all hold on now. Because I know one thing, they better not be making this a paid call. Because, mental health people, you might, listen, all of us might not have credit at certain times. 1-800 534-6463. Let us see if this is a toll-free number.
Welcome to the Mental Health Helpline. Our office hours are from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We will get back to you as soon as we can.
Okay. All right. Cayman stepping up. We got an 800 number for mental health, y'all. Make a note of that number, please, because you never know when you just need to talk to somebody. And although they're only open 9 to 5, if you're stressing between 9 to 5, then please, keep on it. Okay. Very good. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. So shelters are opening up. Yes. Make sure you've got safe water to drink. It says your hurricane kit, here's a tip, should have a minimum of 3 gallons of water per person. Child, if I drank that much water, that'd be a miracle. But have it just in case. And know where your shelters are located, the closest shelter to you. Medication. Sue's saying that she hopes that she never sees a Cat 5 again. Well, child, I don't know if we will see one in our lifetime, but statistically speaking, there will be another one at some point. So, yes. Oh my goodness, what a mess. All right, so yes, indeed. This is going to be quite the storm to watch. Nothing major. I don't want you guys to overreact or anything here, but we're going to nonetheless keep an eye on it. So let's shift gears a little bit, folks. Speaking of our environment, we were talking about the mangroves and the necessity to protect such important, precious things. Like I said, I know that ultimately that people are very selfish. So I don't even try to appeal sometimes to people's like, oh, do it for the environment, do it for the right reasons, because y'all just don't know what the right reasons are. I mean, honestly, right? So I'm just sending somebody some. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, folks, be selfish, because most human beings are just selfish. Y'all don't understand why we need to care about the environment. So I know y'all are selfish. So the reason we should have selfish reasons for wanting to protect the environment. Because if we don't protect the environment can't protect us. That's when we have things like flooding and all these other things going on. So care about the environment, because when I see certain things happening, I am extremely disturbed. What are we talking about here, folks? Look at this. Tell me, in what world is this right? Thank you, Miss Rosemary. She was saying that she likes how I simplify things so that everyone can understand. Thank you very much. What is this? Y'all tell me. What sick persons or person decided to do this to the poor sharks? Leave the sharks alone. The sharks are important. This is just utterly disturbing and disgusting. Right? Why? I don't even get it. Why on earth would anyone think that this is a cool thing to do? 6 dead sharks found in Cayman. So the Department of Environment is reminding the public that it's illegal to kill, harm, or possess a shark or any part of the shark in the Cayman Islands. The warning comes after 6 dead sharks and the removed fins of a nurse shark were found in the Cayman Islands during the month of July. This is disturbing. Why are we doing this? Y'all need to explain to me what this is all about. Who does this? For what purpose? Right? Yay. I don't know what this is all about. To me, this doesn't make any sense. And are people doing this for medicinal purposes? Are they eating parts of the shark? Is that a thing? Do they think it's interesting to say that you've cut up a shark and you've cut off the shark fins? Like, what is this all about? Please, y'all need to help me understand this, because I do not understand it. And I think that unfortunately, we are taking advantage of Mother Nature in a way that is quite deplorable. This is just disgusting. Look at the poor sharks. Look at this. This is the reef shark. It says that these two are neonates, which means that they were born within the past 2 to 3 weeks, evidenced by their belly button, which was still visible, circled in red. A 2 to 3 week old shark. Does what? Really? The poor shark does not even have a chance here. What? Why? This is a dusky smooth hound shark. People, we do not own this earth. We are only here for a little time. And I think that, we need to be reminded of that. And that, in my mind, means that we should all be doing our best to try to leave it as we found it or in better condition than we found it. I like the better condition part. Please. Yes? I don't know what prompted whoever to do this, but this is very, very disturbing. I can't recall having heard of this before. So is this like a new phenomena, or are we just not normally that cognizant of it? It's just, I'm just really, really shocked. What is this all about? All right, so let's see here. So someone has said, one of our WhatsApp viewers, a lot of people are listening and they don't comment directly on this show, but we know that they're listening. And this person has said, apparently there's money. This could be a money-making venture because there is money to be made. How disgusting is that? From the purchasing of shark parts. Disgusting. Fins can bring in hundreds of dollars on the market, with the average being about $450 per pound. A bowl of soup can cost $100. Are we actually having shark fin soup in the Cayman Islands? It's considered a symbol of wealth and delicacy in China since the Ming Dynasty. Well, that was a long time ago. It was a dish that only the emperor and his guests would be served. Wow. Well, there's a little bit of factual information. But now we know maybe Mr. Ming did not appreciate the necessity to leave Mother Nature alone. And they were just like, we'll take whatever we want. Now we know that that simply is not a good thing. Folks, we just got to leave the sharks alone. They help to protect the ecosystem in the ocean. You kill the apex predator, and God knows we're going to be next on the list. It throws everything out of balance. Sharks have a part to play. And I think that, we've already got the coral reef disease that we're fighting and all these other things. And it's just very, very concerning that this is happening. So Carol confirms that Asian community, sorry, but shark fin soup is a delicacy in Southeast Asia, kind of confirming the observation that the other person was making. Leslie says they're so wicked. I hope their fines and the person responsible are caught and punished. Laws without enforcement mechanisms are useless. And that is a valid point. Let me just have a look at the story to see if DOE mentioned what the fines were. In the meantime, folks, let me bring you a breaking traffic alert. If you're on Crew Road, this is what you would have just witnessed. Hot mess. Fender bender on Crew Road, folks. I don't know if these people are rushing to go get supplies, but might I remind you that you will get to your destination safer. This is right by Palmdale. You'll get to your destination safer if you simply take your time. No need to rush. If you get to work 2 minutes late, the boss is probably not going to fire you. I can't say 100% these days, but probably not, because if you get in an accident, you're going to be more than 2 minutes late. You may not arrive at all. So, folks, please take your time. And we're going to put this up on our social media channels just in case. So yes, sharks. Wow. I think that anyone, now you guys know that we get a lot of tips here in CMR. Send me a tip if you know who's actually doing this, if you have any evidence. Sometimes people send me tips and they say, foreign nationals, they say to me, Sandy, I'm going to send you this information about I'm just going to pick a random community, say the Russian community. I've actually never had one about the Russian community because I don't think there's much of one here. But just as an example, because I don't want to point out anybody else that might have actually sent a tip. But, they'll say, keep my information anonymous because back home, my family could be at risk if these people knew that I was outing people for wrongdoing, even in the Cayman Islands. I thought, wow, that's a long arm reach, right? So I would just say that, everyone needs to help put the information out there in terms of any potential persons that are involved in this. And we will pass the information on to the authorities. And I do hope, I'm just having a look here to see what fines are involved. I do hope that there are significant fines for anyone who engages in this type of disgusting behavior. So thank you, Leslie. You guys might know that Leslie works closely with Mother Nature. Leslie, what is your official title? You have to remind me. She's got some bio something degree, plants and fauna and all that fun stuff. Sue says we did have a big tropical storm last year. Yes. I don't think it was actually big, Sue, but it did a lot more damage than most of us actually thought that it would do, which is why you always have to be prepared and you never underestimate a storm. Never. Natasha says they callously remove the fins for soup, similarly to when they're slaughtering stingrays last year just for their wings. Wow. It's disgusting. Escobar says, Carol, you hit the nail on the head. In the Asian community, shark fin soup is a delicacy and is said to provide the vim and vigor for men. Y'all don't need more vim or vigor. Viagra. Go try some Viagra. And there are drinks that you can make if you need a little extra something. But honestly, why do people always think that they need, I've always found this peculiar. Why do human beings feel like they need any more vim and vigor? Y'all are populating the earth quite fine. I just don't see the need for it. Somebody's just, if you want to report an unauthorized donkey in handicapped spaces, just come to the airport staff parking lot. Somebody just sent me that, an unauthorized donkey. I like how she said that, an unauthorized donkey. You know how we have our jackass of the day. She's like an unauthorized donkey. The roti shop used to and still serves shark. So where do they buy it from? They do? What? Why is shark served in the menu here if it's protected here? I've never heard of this before, so that is certainly news for me. Wow, they do? So the Asian community might be suspect number one based on what Leanne and others are saying. You know, don't do it. I don't want to make any assumptions about who it could be, but it's quite disturbing. So DOE enforcement is on high alert and has ramped up its regular patrols around the shoreline, boat ramps, and boat docks, because a lot of times the little sharks like hang out in those areas. The department emphasized that any offenses will be prosecuted, and penalties for breaking the law include fines, imprisonment, and or boat and vehicle seizure. Oh, it should just be imprisonment, y'all. It should be imprisonment. DOE Shark Project Officer. Oh, we have such a thing. That's wonderful. Joanna Kohler has said that it's bringing this information to the public's attention. We hope that residents will be more vigilant and say something if they see something. Now, this, folks, is a common theme, regardless of what it is. If you see something, say something. It doesn't matter if it's somebody taking advantage of the poor sharks in the water, if it's child abuse, if it's immigration offenses, if it's traffic offenses, jackasses parking in a handicapped spot. If you see something, say something. I feel like we need to have an island-wide campaign. If you see something, you say something. Maybe CMR needs to change our logo to that. Instead of, our logo, if it is, our current logo is if it don't go so, it go close to so, because, but maybe what we need to do is, change it to if you see something, say something. Now, I know a lot of you all are saying something to us a lot of times, like I've just said, and we certainly appreciate that. But, we pass information on to the relevant authorities, because we can't go out there doing all kind of crime fighting. We're not really superheroes, in case you didn't know. I know some of y'all think we are, and you think I wear a cape. And one guy says that I don't sleep. He's like, you definitely don't sleep. I do sleep a little bit. And, I don't wear a cape, but we will pass information on to the agencies. Dana, we don't know who's watching. We don't know who's doing it. So, Damaris is watching from Virginia. Thank you so much. Leslie, UF, University of Florida, River County Environmental Horticulture. Ooh, what's a big title? River County Environmental Horticulture Agent and Master Gardener and Coordinator. Lord, Leslie, what a title you got yourself there. Yeah, like the one with the lobster the other day. No, it was the conch. Oh my God, come on, people. It's just ridiculous. You don't need that much conch. You don't need that much lobster. Dana says Trinidadians love shark, humans consuming every animal in sight. Disgusting. Yeah, I mean, why do we need to eat it all? Al says, strange how the human minds are conditioned. Nature will always rule. Culture differences. Some people discuss that. We kill turtles and eat them. I find it disgusting. Caging animals, hunting animals just for fun. Having a balanced world will never happen. So Al is calling all y'all out who eat turtle and other such things. He's kind of saying, maybe the pot is calling the kettle black. And we're all guilty of it to some extent. Miss Darlene, I saw your son yesterday. She says, if you see something, call CMR. Well, that's what people are doing now, to be honest. So we don't need to encourage them anymore. But yes, we got a lot of tips, Joe. I saw Felix yesterday, and he was jokingly saying to someone in the grocery store that I talk to you more than he does. It's like, listen, don't call my mommy between 7:30 and 9:30 Cayman time, because we know what she's doing. She's on CMR. And he says that people often joke with, oh, is that your mom that's always on CMR? Jennifer she says, I came from Singapore and Hong Kong. Indeed, shark fin soup is a delicacy. Wow. They serve it in restaurants for special banquets. Sad to say that I tasted it and it's very good. But some restaurants now in Southeast Asia drop the shark fin soup on their menu because they cannot find any sustainability to get shark fins for not sacrificing. Yeah, it's just, folks, there's no way to get shark fin soup without the shark fin. Jennifer, having said that, I noticed that you mentioned it actually tastes good. We have, as human beings, been extremely creative, and we've got fake meat now and fake veggie burger that tastes pretty much the same. Can we not just do a fake fin soup? Sprinkle a little bit of salt in there, make it taste like it's out of the ocean. I think there might be a way to enjoy the taste of something similar without sacrificing the sharks, because as you can see, if it's legit shark fin soup, it would require shark fins, and you can't cut off a shark's fins and not kill the shark. Louis says, evil is everywhere. Unbelievable. Bonjour to Jill. Thank you so much for tuning in. Dana says it's not the Trin, just referring to the roti shop comment. She agrees with Al on that point. Louis says CMR is number one for a reason. Thank you, Louis. Carol says that the roti shop removed shark from the menu a few years ago due to the conservation law. Wow, I never even knew it was on the menu. But then again, I don't really frequent the roti shop. I've maybe been to the roti shop like twice in my whole life, to be honest. Sometimes my husband, you guys know he's of Indian descent. So sometimes he will go there and get what are they called? I don't even know. A roti, I guess. And he does have her daughter kind of enjoying like roti, but she likes like a lot of vegetarian stuff like potatoes and whatever. Yeah, wow. That is something that I never knew. So Jennifer says there is an alternative. I think they used the bird's nest. What bird? I feel like we need to find another way without messing with nature. Like leave the birds, leave the sharks, leave them all alone. I don't know, but for food, is there any food? Let me ask you guys a question. Oh, thank you, John. John says there is something called artificial shark fin. There you go. Yes, honey child. Thank you, John. You guys are on it this morning. Listen, is there any dish that exists that you could not imagine life without? Like whatever your favorite dish is, if you had to give it up, right? Whatever it is, could you imagine life without it? I'm trying to think of like, what is the one thing I really love? Well, I'm a foodie, so I love a lot of different kinds of food. It's difficult for me to even think about like giving up one thing because I'm like, I kind of feel like I could probably give up most things. Moderation, I think, is the key. What could I not give up in terms of food? I don't know. Is there anything that you couldn't give up? Shark fin is definitely not. I've never had it. I have no interest in having it. It's all good. That's what it is. Yeah. All right, folks. Please listen to the Department of Environment. They do a fantastic job of trying to help us protect our environment, the little of it that we have left. So I beseech you to listen and understand that the earth is not, there's a finite amount of everything on this earth, right? Even the earth itself has some sort of a life expectancy. And if we want to protect as much of it for the human race as possible, then I suggest that we all just try to think a little bit more about Mother Earth and not be so incredibly selfish all the time. Natasha said she couldn't give up pasta. Yes, probably. Well, yeah, because pasta goes in a lot of dishes, child. Thank you, John. A National Geographic Animals article, restaurant sells shark fin soup despite state bans. Wow, is that in the U.S.? Louis says, I could never give up on God. He's been super good to me. Everything else could come or go for me. Good morning to Miss Joy Sand. Thank you for logging in. Speaking of the Department of Environment and Mother Nature, big shout out to them for saving a dolphin. Did you guys see the footage for this? Let me see if I can find it here. This is pretty cool that they rescued this little dolphin. So let me see if I can find him. We've got a picture of the dolphin. Where's the dolphin video? So this dolphin was in distress on our shores, and some people noticed it, and they called in. It was a team effort between the Department of Environment and the, funny enough, dolphin discovery, which a lot of people feel like maybe they should just let little Willie run free. But they were instrumental in assisting with the with assisting this dolphin who was in some sort of distress. It had beached itself, essentially. They were instrumental in getting this dolphin back out to sea. The dolphin had some sort of injuries on it. It looked like it might have been involved in a little shark altercation. So, Mr. John Tibbetts is joining us, Mr. Weatherman himself, Weather General. Are you ready? Give me a thumbs up and I'll bring you in. We were just talking about this beautiful dolphin here that was rescued. And the Cayman Turtle Center was also involved in the rescue efforts for that dolphin. So apparently he beached himself and he had some injuries that he was recovering from. So bless his little heart, they were able to assist him. The boat kind of guided him back out. So that's wonderful, I think, because obviously his life has been saved to swim another day. And again, you know, the larger, all marine creatures, large and small, play an extremely important part in the ecosystem. But the larger, like I said, apex animals are in particular very, very, very important. All right, so Mr. John Tibbetts, Director General, the National Weather Center Director General. Let's see if he's ready. Oh, I saw him pop in. Oh, let's see. He's gonna join us. All right. Al says, I always wanted to stop eating chicken. It's the only meat I eat from the land. All right, Mr. John, you ready for us? Good morning.
Yeah. I was hoping that it would go on my car, on my car radio.
Okay.
I can barely hear you, to be honest with you.
All
can
right.
you hear me good?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right.
You're good. So can you tell us what's the latest with, is it still a tropical depression?
It is not a tropical depression. It is a tropical storm.
Right.
Give me a minute. Let me get my information up and running.
Sure, no problem at all.
At 7 a.m. this morning, located at 18.2 north, 76.1 west. That's about 340 miles southeast of Grand Cayman. Moving west at 16 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds at 45 miles per hour. Now, when we went to sleep last night, this thing was a tropical depression. And this morning we get up and it's a tropical storm. However, all along the National Hurricane Center has been saying that this thing would strengthen and become a tropical storm this morning anyway. So the fact that we have a tropical storm this morning does not surprise us.
Yes.
Okay. The strength of the storm is a little bit higher than
Uh-oh. We lost you there. Uh-oh. All right, so we'll give him a second to jump back on. I do notice that he's calling in from his mobile phone. We really appreciate that, by the way. Good morning to Jennifer. The bird called Swift fleet bird. They stick their saliva on a wall. They're also cultivate in China. They don't kill a bird. Okay. They stick their saliva on a wall. Why? Jonathan, good morning, good morning, good morning. Pleasant good morning to you. Cece's here. She says, good grace and mercy always carries us through. All right, Mr. John, let's try that one more time. We were hearing you perfectly fine. There you go.
I'm not sure what you heard.
Yeah, well, we heard up until the strengthening was expected. So that part of it was not a surprise. And then
okay, so the formation of this thing to strengthening of the system to a tropical storm this morning does not surprise us. Okay, the one thing that has been a bit different is that the forecast track of the storm and the current track of the storm, it appears to be going across Jamaica. Okay, so bad news for the Jamaican people. They are going to get a lot of rainfall and a lot of problems over there. Wow. On the other side of this now is that when a storm impacts an island the size of Jamaica, it normally weakens. And there's an outside chance that even the track may change a bit. Okay? So we are expecting this storm to weaken over Jamaica and then come out the western side. And then the Hurricane Center says it will gradually weaken. There's no signs that we're going to get any rapid intensification. So this storm is going to gradually strengthen. And it is expected to remain a tropical storm for the time period when it is impacting the Cayman Islands.
That's good
the onset of showers and tropical storm force winds. We're expecting that late this evening, early night in the sister islands, and later, probably close to about 11 p.m. or so for Grand Cayman. Okay. Rainfall totals about 7 to 9 inches are likely across the Cayman Islands, and wind speeds of about 40 to 50 miles per hour overnight tonight.
All right.
So that's where we're at right now.
Okay. And what's your best advice for people in terms of preparation?
Best advice is to get what you can get done by late this afternoon.
Right.
And then get indoors and make sure your house is protected and no one goes near the sea. We have requested all boats in safe harbor.
Good. Okay. All right, folks. So again, this is Mr. John Tibbetts. Thank you so much. He is the Director General for the National Weather Service, joining us this morning, giving us a little bit of an update on thunderstorm, right? Grace. So she's intensified slightly since yesterday, but it looks like we might still be in relatively good stead, hopefully. Tropical storm Grace, sorry. So the last storm that we had last year that caused a little bit of damage, wasn't that roughly the same speed, about 45 miles per hour? I'm trying to remember what that was called.
Last year we had three really crazy storms, as it were.
Yeah, there's one.
And let's not forget that last year we had 10 systems that displayed rapid intensification. This one is not expected to have any rapid intensification.
Okay.
So that's the good news. There will be a lot of flooding tonight and into tomorrow.
Okay, so people are in low-lying areas. Should they get sandbags? Is that a recommendation if they know that typically in their particular area they would experience flooding that could breach into their homes?
Generally speaking, when you're talking about sandbags, you're talking about a lot of flooding with regards to seawater. There's two different types of flooding you can get. There's seawater, i.e. storm surge. Now, this is a tropical storm we generally don't speak about storm surge in a tropical storm. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
The other kind is freshwater flooding. You will have freshwater flooding. I noticed that somebody's asking about tornadoes, and that's a kind of a hit or miss type situation. You don't have to have a hurricane to get a tornado in around these things. There is a massive area of clouds and showers with this system, going all the way from Haiti to way down to South Central Caribbean Sea. All right. This storm center seems to be in the northwest section of this area of clouds. So there's all kind of possibility for all kind of things that may form out of this in terms of tornadic or strong winds or sudden downbursts and what have you.
Right. Okay. All right. So a little bit of unpredictability there, folks. But the advice of Mr. John Tibbetts this morning is just to get as much done as early in the day today as possible. This is just a reminder again to, do things throughout the hurricane season in particular, such as keeping your gutters clear, keeping drains cleared, shaking down those coconut trees because they become a missile. Even at 45 miles per hour. So there's a lot of things that you can probably get done today. But most importantly, stay away from the water, bring boats into safe harbor. And safe harbor is considered the North Sound.
For this storm, the safest harbor you can get is going to be the North Sound, not the South Coast. The storm will, in fact, even produce some southwesterly winds, which will mean that if boats are out on the 7 Mile beach, they may not necessarily be safe at that particular time.
Right. Okay. Now, what is your team? I know you guys are extremely busy today, part of the hazard management team. What are you guys, what's your priority for today? What are you out and about doing?
We've been working for over the last 24, 36 hours with hazards management and the various government agencies in preparation. We've had one council meeting yesterday, and we have a council meeting coming up at 11 o'clock today to hash through any areas of concern or any kind of matters that needs addressing. I think you're going to hear, as the day goes along, comments and official statements about closing of businesses and various other things, and when we're expecting potentially to reopen and what have you. It is a system that's going to mainly be overnight.
Right.
Okay.
I was actually going to ask you this in relation to that. I know you've got years of experience as chief meteorologist before in dealing with these storms. In your opinion, is it better to get a system overnight or during the daytime? What has been kind of your feel? We were just asking your audience about this. As someone who's in, the weather business and work with hazard management, is it better in terms of just overall safety of people to have a storm that comes in overnight or during the daytime?
There are pluses and minuses all over the place. The plus with having a system overnight is generally everybody's going to be in their beds, or at least they're going to be in their homes.
Right.
The bad news kind of things is that when it gets dark, obviously you can't see things. So if people are, I know that we just went on to another radio show and we were talking about testing your hurricane plan and all this kind of stuff. One of my big concerns is that people testing their hurricane plan may mean a hurricane party. All right. And a hurricane party is never any good at any time. Okay. But what a hurricane party could potentially mean might be sometime overnight where you can't see things. It's raining cats and dogs outside, and yet you're partially drunk and you're trying to go home. And what you will do is it won't only be you, but you will also endanger rescue workers that have to come save you.
Right. Yep. So think hard about that, folks. Okay. So thank you very much, sir, for your time this morning. We appreciate it. We've got about 260 people listening to the program this morning, folks. Spread the word. The first thing is stay away from the ocean. Secure your vessels if you have anything in the North Sound area, and just stay inside, stay home, get all of your errands ran early, fill up the gas tank if you need to, those sorts of things. Get that done as early today as possible. I don't think there needs to be a run on supplies at the grocery store, but just be comfortable in your home, stay inside, and stay as safe as possible until the government actually issues the all clear. All right, Mr. John, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, have a good day.
Okay, bye-bye.
All righty. All right, folks. So again, that is Director General of the Cayman Islands National Weather Service, John Tibbetts. Yes, Miss Brenda, we've been talking about this storm up to 45 miles per hour. We should be getting another update, I think, about an hour's time. So we'll see. A bit of good news there, as Mr. John was saying, that we anticipate the storm going over Jamaica first. Now, I don't know exactly what part of Jamaica, but Jamaica is mountainous. And so normally what that means for us is to, it's going to break up the storm a little bit and hopefully keep it at a bare minimum in terms of in terms of the strength. So Dino, good morning, says, hi, Sandy, greetings from Florida, following Grace through your program and hoping it's as mild as possible. Prayers for the well-being of the Caymanians and always wishing the best to the Air Post community. I was wondering if that was you, Dino. Hey, Dino, how's it going? That's my friend over at Air Post. Thank you so much, Dino, for that message. Dana says everything is worse at night. No surf's up. Stay out. Listen, y'all, stay out of the water, because what can happen. People like to take foolish risks with their lives. Ravina, good morning. Miss Brenda says, don't forget Eta. Was it Eta or Eta? I always was mispronouncing her name. Was that the one that we had last year that caused some damage? I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember. Storm. Yeah, but we had some trees come up and all sorts of stuff last year. Yes, this was last November. Thank God for CMR. You just type in a word and it'll bring it up. So that was Tropical Storm Eta, I think is how she was properly pronounced. And yeah, in case you guys don't remember, this is around the 10th of November. And ooh, honey child, she was causing all kind of havoc. Down, let me show you guys in case you've forgotten. We had down trees, and I was surprised at the impact of the storm. Remember this? Yep, this is what happened. It was like, whoa. We did a show on it, obviously. But there she is. And this is when Alric was joining the show to talk about it. But yeah, we had some photos of the storm. So, it did definitely cause some damage. Yep. Last is Jamaica, causing mudslides and flooding. That was November the 8th. And then it headed straight for Cayman afterwards. And it caused quite a bit of damage. Look at this. You guys remember? This was Cayman. You're not gonna know kayak, you can't cross it.
Our yard. This is the roof. Some of the shingles gone. There's nothing. These are big. So the fence is down. Our shingle is still there. Isha, I don't know if at all. Mark, you guys okay? Basically, everybody needs you to come home city. Allison, you can do it from March. Okay. This is a plan. Let me go on the back and show you guys. It's crazy. The kitchen windows is okay. I think so. Look at that. It's close. Oh, it's fine. Okay. That's not the one. Hold on, come. Ali, careful. Oh my God, this is like silly. Yeah. Yeah, come on.
Oh my God.
My window? Yeah, I see a window broken right here. Oh, two windows are broken. This. Yeah. Oh, the shingles off this. It's okay. Shadow. Yeah, they're okay. Those right now, they're okay. Because mine is over there. It's like this. It's okay. Hold on, come in, guys, wait. I don't know what just happened there. I see one barrel. I don't know what the next barrel. I think the next barrel went up like the road. I don't know how we get them. Well, the office is crazy. Alright, baby. Si lo tienes, pues sí. Si no, no. Una muleta, mira. Era la mía, no pasa nada. You're the fool. Out of the way. Whoa.
7 area is a destruction right now. And a area is a destruction. Oh my God. This is serious stuff. Wow. Did not realize that this storm here was so serious, but it is serious, guys. It is serious business going on in the 7 area. Palm trees down, trees down, light pole down. It is a complete mess. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. Just wow. Oh my. This is something else. My mind. Wow. We are in the midst of a storm. We're in the midst of a storm. So, yeah. For Channel 7, Weather News. Over and out.
He's funny.
This is Puppy Beach, right? And right at the kitchen. So, racing these waters.
All right, folks. So just a little bit of a reminder on where we were in November. That's not all that long ago, folks. I find that we forget very, very quickly. The human brain has a way of trying to protect itself from trauma. And so we are all too happy to quickly forget what has happened. So folks, if there's anything that you get from that video, it's to prepare. You can't be over prepared for sure. And a couple pointers, I know that some of you saw a few things there that were a little bit disturbing. Having all sorts of stuff around the house. Today is your opportunity to go clean up your yard a little bit, folks. Pick up debris. I mean, there's certain things you can't move. So you can't move your gas tank inside, for example. Don't do that. But all the other buckets and whatever, clean that stuff up. Secure it in a single, if you've got a shed or you got somewhere else that you can put it, keep your yard free of as much debris as possible. The other interesting thing is your poor pets. Good morning, Miss Doreen. My God, please, please don't leave your pets tied up outside. The poor dogs. And if you have cats, bring them inside. Give them a chance to be calm. And, listen, a lot of animals don't like storms in any event. I've had numerous dogs that they could predict before the storm even reached. You could see their behavior change significantly because they knew exactly what was coming and they would get very nervous. And I had one dog, poor Oscar, bless his little heart. He just couldn't take the stress. And most interestingly enough, he was already unhinged before. And then he survived Hurricane Ivan. And after Hurricane Ivan, that dog was never the same. And I know that Hurricane Ivan actually shortened the life of my dogs. I had 2 at the time. But poor Oscar, after Ivan, if there was even a windy day outside and the windows would rattle a little bit, he would start pacing and he would just what he would start doing is he would actually push, the push-up windows, regular windows. He would push, I don't know how he did it because he wasn't the biggest dog in the world, but he would literally push the window up, knock out the screen and run outside because he felt better outside as opposed to hearing the rattling of the windows. But folks, remember your pets. You choose to have them, right? Don't keep them tied up outside. A lot of animals do not respond well to weather conditions such as what we're going to have. And I think you should be taking them into consideration. There's going to be flooding. Don't have the animals standing in water. Please check on if you have cows or cattle. After the all clear has been given, go and check on them to make sure that they're not standing in excessive water, because then they get what's it called, hoof foot or whatever, where basically their hoofs are like waterlogged and saturated. This is where now you need to have your plan of action. So write down everything that you need to be aware of and that you need to do heading up to during the storm, and certainly afterwards as well. Some good advice. Leslie says, I've got rabbits and the containers to keep them inside are prepared. Roger and Peter are depending on me for everything. Roger and Peter the rabbit. Peter Rabbit. Roger Rabbit. I hear you there, Leslie. Depending, yes, and that's exactly right. Our children depend on us. Our pets depending on us. Hopefully your children will be asleep during the passage of the storm, folks. So, but have a word with them, because they can sense that something is going on. So I've got a 5-year-old. I'm going to have a little 5-year-old conversation with her and just prep her to say, hey, there's a little bit of storm coming. So we might have some thunderstorms tonight, some rain and wind. Roofs, you might have some roof damage. Check your roof after the all clear has been given. Don't go up on the roof in the middle of the storm, y'all. Shingles might come loose. We saw, again, that storm was a similar storm, I think, in terms of intensity. And you saw the amount of damage that Tropical Storm Eta did. And that was west-northwest of Grand Cayman. And it passed within 99 miles or so of Cayman Brac. So again, tropical storms or tropical depression does not mean that it's not going to cause significant things such as power lines being down and trees literally being ripped out of the ground. Here's a message from Home Gas, folks. Again, if you are a propane user, I use propane. You want to make sure that you understand the importance of safety. Now, they are very, very busy today because, as usual, everyone waited until the last minute to get a top up. And so they're out and about securing their tanks and making sure that all of you have the propane that you need going into the storm. And here's a message from them. So good afternoon, folks. We're here with a manager at Home Gas who's going to walk us through a few safety considerations as everyone starts to think about hurricane season and how to prepare yourselves for any impending storms or hurricanes that may be coming your way. So we're just days out of obviously watching a development that's out there right now. So good afternoon, Chris.
Afternoon, how you doing?
Great. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon to do a little tutorial session here, inform our viewers at the Home Gas plant located right off of Walker's Road, and what you need to do in the event of a storm that's coming. So we do have several tanks that are on display here. So if you've got different types of tanks, now tell us a little bit about each one of these and who might actually have like the little mini one versus the big one.
Absolutely. So just in light of Tropical Storm Elsa, I think it is, that's on our way through the Caribbean, thought that it would be a good time for a storm awareness, storm check of first and foremost how to turn your tank on and off in situations. So firstly, we'll start with the little barbecue cylinder. It's called a 20-pound cylinder, also known as a barbecue cylinder. It's a very simple to turn it on, to turn it off. You just twist the valve on the top. This here, it will be where it connects to the barbecue. It may be with some form of hose. It will be the only cylinder, only canister that's allowed to have a rubber hose attached to it. Anything else would be a breach of the code. But it's simple, on and off would just be to turn the valve to the left or to the right.
So if you have a barbecue grill, for example, that's sitting out on your back patio, you'd recommend turning it off?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. In a strong wind, it could blow, which we certainly don't want, but at the very least to have it turned off takes away any undue safety concerns.
Right. Okay, wonderful. And should this be the sort of thing, I'm thinking for this little tiny tank, like if you're not using it, should you just turn it off when it's not in use anyway?
By and large, most people would do, particularly for a barbecue. It's going to be outdoors for 2, 3, 4 days or weeks or whatever without use. So far easier to turn it off when it's not being used anyway.
Yes, good habit. Okay.
And it must never ever be put inside.
This one should never go inside?
None of them. No propane cylinder or tank,
right.
no matter how big, should ever be put inside, especially in a storm.
Wow, okay, that's good to know. Because see, I would have thought, oh, just stick that in the garage or the utility room, don't put it inside.
It needs to be in a ventilated space, otherwise it's just going to accumulate and it's not a good situation.
Yeah, okay, good advice, folks. This is why we're here with the experts.
Thank you, Ish. Moving on to what we call the 100-pound cylinder. This would be used for a lot of domestic installations, particularly if you've got, say, a cooktop and what we would call a back-to-back. So it would be one side of the wall and your stove or something would be the other. Again, very similar. It's on the right-hand side. You just twist it right or left to turn it on and off. This here would be where it connects to the house. So all very simple. Just if there's a storm coming, twist it off and be on the safe side.
Right. Okay, wonderful. All right.
100-pound cylinder
100 pounds.
is one of the more common cylinders that we see on island at the moment.
Okay. All right, folks, that's the 100-pound, and then we've got the big, really big one over on this side.
And then we move on to what we would describe as being bulk. So with these type of cylinders, this is where the driver will fill it at your house rather than exchanging or taking one bottle for another. So this one is a 200-pound. We also have the 420-pound cylinders that are common in restaurants and houses. And these would be kind of the larger vertical tanks. Again, very similar. These ones actually come with a gauge, so you can see how much gas you have in your tank at any given time. We would fill it through here, and again, to turn on and off would be just to twist the knob on the left hand or right hand side. Very simple, very straightforward, and always best done when there's a storm coming.
Okay, and can you tell us a little bit about how to read the gauge so that you can tell how much gas you actually have?
Yeah, so obviously you would think that you could fill up to 100%. Because of the chemical composition of propane, it expands and contracts with temperature fluctuations. So by code, we are only allowed to fill it to 80%, which is why on a gauge itself, you would only see it is a maximum of 80% numerically. And so we would fill anywhere from 0 to 80. When you hit to 30, 20 or 30% is when we would suggest giving us a call to get a top up. You don't want it to go too low, particularly if there is a storm coming. But otherwise, yeah, it's this tank is empty, but you have a needle on the gauge that says where the corresponding amount is.
Right. So you think it's okay to wait until 30% and call you guys, or should we be aiming for a little bit higher than that during storm season?
During storm season, let's say June, July, always best just to get topped up anyway. You want to make sure that you've got a full tank of gas in any scenario. Hopefully not any scenario, but just in case. So yeah, always best to have more than less gas.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I was in the office earlier and I heard a lot of people actually calling in, make some last minute calls ahead of the weekend saying, you know, I want to make sure that I get my gas. So it's always better to call in, because I'm sure you guys are going to be working extra hard over the next couple of days. Do you work on weekends in terms of fuel delivery, or what's your delivery schedule like?
We do. It's strange timing that we have a storm coming on a bank holiday weekend. So typically we would be closed on Sunday, Monday to give the guys a welcome breather. We do deliver on Saturdays. We obviously deliver Monday to Friday. Make sure that we deliver same day for any delivery that's called in before midday on any day. So if you do need a delivery, give us a call before midday for same day. Otherwise, it will be the next business day.
Awesome. All right. Now there's some other tanks there. Are those tanks that people actually get, or what are these? These look super large.
So once you get past the 420, you get to a 250, a 500, 1,000, a 2,000 gallon, which would be a horizontal tank.
Yeah.
These ones are above ground. You also have the below ground, which are exactly the same shape and size. It's exactly the same nature in terms of how to fill it, in terms of how to turn it off. You have your valve again, just to turn it on and off. You have your gauge, so you can see how much you have. You have here where it connects to your house, and so it's exactly the same. It's just a larger tank. Ordinarily, for a lot of the houses, particularly those with generators that are being built, you'd have these tanks that are being put underground now, and they're connecting to everything that you would need for your domestic usage.
Right. How do you turn it off if it's underground?
It's exactly the same. You'd have it's kind of a lid with a manhole cover type thing. You'd prise the lid open, you would reach down no more than 20-30 centimeters to be able to reach, and you'd twist.
So this bit stays above ground.
It's within reach. It's underground, but still within reach.
Within reach. Okay, awesome. Very interesting. Well, all right, folks. So hopefully that is a little bit of a reminder there. If you are a propane customer, home gas is all about safety first. And they did that video early on in the hurricane season. They will be doing some other video tips throughout the remainder of the hurricane season, just to remind all of us of the things that you need to do. Propane, you know, is safe, but you've got to make sure that you also likewise know what it is that you're doing. So for example, quite interestingly enough, I never knew, and this was legit news to me, that you should never, ever take a propane tank inside. Like, I actually thought that the little small one was okay to take inside. Like, I'm like, why not? You know, stick it inside in the utility room or whatever. And as Mr. Chris said there, never, ever take a propane tank inside. So Cayman National has just issued an alert, folks, a bulletin here that said that due to unexpected weather from Tropical Storm Grace, they're closing the Cayman Brac customer service today at 12 o'clock. So this is a safety precaution. And don't forget that a lot of the companies, you know, they have employees of their own. I'm going to see if I can save this as a JPEG. I don't know why they always send these things as PDFs. But folks, the bottom line is they have employees as well, and their employees would like to be able to get out there and obviously get a few things done. So please be reminded that Tropical Storm Grace is upon us. This is nothing to joke about. Don't go out on the water. Mr. John Tibbetts, the Weather General, the Director General of the Cayman Islands National Weather Service, has instructed us to stay away from the water. Folks, I think that is excellent advice. Take the storm seriously. Do not play around with the situation. Stay indoors until the all clear is given, and we will keep you updated here as we get updates throughout the day. Please, we get all of our information, especially when it comes to weather alerts, from official sources. So, you know, GIS is sending them out, the National Weather Service is sending them out, and we collate everything and we put it on our platforms. If there's anything major that's happening, we may do another live stream a bit later on in the afternoon, going into the evening hours. But with the projected path, if it doesn't change significantly, the storm will pretty much come extremely close to Grand Cayman, and it's going to happen into the early morning hours. So just stay calm. Stay calm. Now, thank you so much, says that we're saved by grace. God's grace has been rich since January the 28th, 2020. And let's not think that we're experts on any other bad grace. Yes, and God gives us common sense. He gives us the ability to follow instructions. And we need to rely on those things during times like this. All right, everyone. Everybody good? I wish you guys a wonderful and super productive day today. Get your little tidbits done that you need to get done before the pending storm. Any notifications like school closures or any of that sort of stuff, we will certainly put those up as and when they become available. So we'll advise you guys of all of that. And until then, folks, please be safe. And, you know, we will definitely keep in touch throughout the day. All right. All right, good folks. We'll talk to you a bit later on.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. Make sure to check Facebook for showtimes and more information and the latest news at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Subscribe to our IG and Facebook pages to get the latest happenings.